Oh, we cover over 9 million people in the whole New York metro area. Just in Manhattan alone, we have about 4 million people that come in every day. Manhattan is got a lot of challenges. Number one is just the pure number of people that come into a very small area. Second is it's three-dimensional. We have to cover them underground, we have to cover them on the street, and we have to cover them in the buildings. So the way we do it is we actually put sites underground, we actually put sites on the street, and we actually put sites in the build as well.
Here on the Brooklyn Bridge. This area is at the heart of downtown Manhattan. It's one of the egresses into New York City. 4 tunnels, 7 bridges. It's the only way on and off Manhattan Island. Covering the bridges and tunnels is quite a challenge from a mobility perspective. The bridges themselves, they're out, open, exposed, and well above ground. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your cell sites are shooting across those bridges and providing very good coverage without too many cell sites getting in there and interfering with each other. There's 4 tunnels in and out of New York City. We have wireless infrastructure that covers the inside of those tunnels with what we call a distributed antenna system, a DAS system.
We are at the World Trade Center Transportation Hub, also called the Oculus. This is one of several major transportation hubs in New York City. 250,000 people come through this transportation hub every day.
The main purpose of this building is the transit location for the path that comes from New Jersey and to funnel people through lower Manhattan to Fulton Terminal. There are a lot of challenges underground. These antennas are much different than the antennas we put on what we call a macro site. We have to provide a lot more of them, and they have to have a very specific geographic location.
One of the interesting challenges with placing these antennas throughout this hub is, as you can see, it's a beautiful transportation hub. So they're very picky about how it looks, right? So they want these antennas to be hidden. So today you can watch the video on the platform, but once you go into the train and you pull away from the platform, your video is going to stop working. In the future, when we have all the tunnels covered that are connecting all these subways, you'll be able to watch your video throughout the entire underground system without any interruptions. That's what we're working towards in the future.
We're at 811 10th Avenue in the middle of the Hell's Kitchen section of Manhattan at an AT&T central office. We have a macro cell site on the roof here, and we serve our customers from this rooftop. It has 5 different sectors that point in 5 different directions.
And the idea is to actually cover 360 degrees around the building, and that's what we're doing here.
These cell sites are built to withstand severe weather conditions. So unless we have something very severe, the cell sites will withstand it.
But if we took away one of those antennas, we would actually lose capacity, which means you'd have slower throughput. With higher throughput or faster speeds, your quality on your video gets very detailed.
We're in the midst right now of moving the majority of our spectrum to LTE. Spectrum are airwaves. Think of it as a highway in the sky that have different lanes. We're adding different lanes to LTE. I think of Manhattan as a big venue. Think of AT&T Stadium in Texas. It seats 100,000 people. Every day, 40 AT&T stadiums are in use in a 22 square mile area. So it is a very unique environment. We're in Central Park, 800 acres of green space just to north of Midtown Manhattan. Over 40 million visitors per year, which makes it the most visited urban park in the United States. It provides a very unique challenge to the wireless network in New York because we mainly serve it from the outside in. When you're pointing cell sites from different directions into the park, trying to overcome interference becomes difficult. So we're going to strategically place small cells throughout the park that will solve our problem with interference and provide a much better customer experience. You cannot throw up cell sites in the middle of Central Park. It is a National Historic location. They don't just let any infrastructure come in here. So what we're going to do is use the infrastructure that's already here, light poles, and put small cells on those light poles, which will provide the coverage that we need inside the park. We're at 30 Rockefeller Center, also known as Top of the Rock here in New York City. When our construction team built the DAS system at 30 Rock, it was built in the vault. Space is an issue in New York City. Typically, they'll try to push us to some location that they can't use. In this case, they put us in a vault that actually belonged to the Rockefeller family. But we had to remove the vault and build a room to put our equipment in. We are in the sub-basement of Rockefeller Center, where we have our fiber distribution room. In this case, our construction team got what was previously known as the cadet room. Why was it called the cadet room? Well, this is where the wooden soldiers at the Rockefeller Center Christmas display were stored. So we took over that space, refurbished it, and made it into our fiber distribution room. That's a great example of what we have to do to provide space for ourselves.